And finally this afternoon in Better Health, we're talking about heart failure.
Yeah, late last week, Kara had a chance to talk with a doctor about a new device designed to help tens of thousands of people who are waiting for heart transplants.
Yeah, the device is called the HeartMate 3. Here's cardiologist Dr. Daniel Ben-Simon and patient Chris Rice.
Heart failure is a very common disease in the United States. 5 million people have it. As you point out, there's a subset of patients who are really sick, and Chris was in that boat, and some of these patients aren't able to wait for a transplant or don't qualify, and there's LVAD technology or left ventricular assist devices or new heart pumps which can really help fill that need.
And Chris, I know you were diagnosed with heart failure. How did that feel when Dr. Ben-Simon said, hey, there's this device, I want to give it to you, I think it's really going to help extend your life?
I was very apprehensive to start off with, but once the doctor explained to me what it was, and then I also had another gentleman come into the hospital who had already received a heart pump, and I seen how normal he was, and talked with him. I was very encouraged after that.
Doctor, how important is it that the message gets out about this? Are people dying because they don't know that this device, the HeartMate, could save their lives?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, and I appreciate you asking it. There are probably now about 300,000 people in the United States with advanced heart failure, and there are 200 centers now that put in these devices and do transplants. And including in your area, you have two great hospitals, Hartford and Yale, are really leading the forefront in some of these technologies that can really help people with these new devices extend their lives and get back to a normal lifestyle.
Yeah, I understand the HeartMate 3, which is the newest version of the HeartMate pump, was just put into a patient via Hartford Hospital. It's also available at Yale. Chris, how did you feel once I know you were apprehensive, but once you got the HeartMate pump installed?
The initial recovery was a little tough, but after the first 5 or 6 months, I felt so much better. I felt normal. Everything on me was working almost perfect again. I feel like in my body, and so yes, I felt really great, and I was back to doing normal stuff at home.
Doctor, I know I was reading that some people just end up going to hospice to wait for a transplant and aren't aware that they might be a candidate for this. If someone is hearing this and they think it could help them, what do they do to get more information?
Well, I think the first thing is pay attention to your symptoms, right? If you're having symptoms and they're not getting any better, pay attention. Go to your doctor, talk to them, say, look, are there advanced therapies? What can I do? A great resource is to go to Abbott's website, heartmate.com. A lot of information about heart failure, a lot of information about the pumps, and a great story about Chris, too.
Yeah, and I know sometimes women, we tend to ignore things more than men, they say. Just so people are listening, you might already know you have a heart valve problem, but what if you don't? Like, what are some symptoms you really want people to call their doctor about?
Right, I think particularly if you can't do the things you're used to doing, you're noticing that, boy, I'm just more short of breath, I'm more fatigued, and particularly if you're starting to have swelling in your legs, in your belly, these are symptoms you really want to get checked out.
And to learn more about the HeartMate pump, which is, as we mentioned, available to eligible patients at Hartford Hospital and at Yale, you can head to heartmate.com.